भीष्टां स्थापितां येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथं नितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखानितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. Hare Krishna everyone, welcome to the daily Bhagavatam reading session. So today we'll continue reading from Canto 3, Chapter 10, which is entitled Divisions of the Creation. So in this chapter, Vidura is asking Maitreya Muni about the creation that's made by Brahma. So how Brahma created all these living entities from his own body and mind. So Maitreya is answering in great details here. So he talks about 10 different kinds of creations here. So out of these 6 creations, the first 6, they are called the natural creation, Prakritic creation, that are already made by the material energy of the Lord. And then the last 4, those are the living entities that they are made by Brahma. Okay, so these are the 10 different kinds of creations. So first, so like we heard here, so actually there's 9, and then the last one they'll talk about later. So out of these first 9 creations, so the first one is the Mahatattva, then the second one is the false ego, then the third one is the sense perception, and then the fourth one is the creation of the knowledge, the fifth one is that of the controlling deities, and then the sixth one is the ignorant darkness of the living entity. So these 6 creations are made by the external energy of the Lord. And then the following ones are made by Brahma, who is an incarnation of the Lord in the mode of passion. And so he makes, so the 7th creation, which is the immovable entities, which are like the trees and plants. And then the 8th creation is the lower species of life. And then there's the 9th creation, which is the human being. And then after that, there's a 10th creation, which are of the demigods. Okay? So yesterday, so on Tuesday, we read up to verse number 19, up to the 7th creation, like that of the trees and the plants. So today we'll continue from verse number 20. Utsrota sastama praya antah sparsha viseshinah. All the immovable trees and plants seek their sustenance upwards. They are almost unconscious, but have feelings of pain within. They are manifested in variegatedness. Verse number 21. Tirascham astama sarga sosta vinsa dvidho mataha abido bhurita masho ghrana gya hrudya abedinaha. The 8th creation is that of the lower species of life. and they are of different varieties, numbering 28. They are all extensively foolish and ignorant. They know their desirables by smell, but are unable to remember anything within the heart. Purport. In the Vedas, the symptoms of the lower animals are described as follows. Athe taresham pashunaha asana pipase eva vijigyanam na vigyatam vadanti na vigyatam pasyanti na viduhu sastanam na loka iti. Yadva bhuri tamasho bahurushaha घृणानेनैव जानन्ति हृद्यं प्रति स्वप्रियं वस्तु एव विन्दति भोजन sayanadi artham grunhanti. Lower animals have knowledge only of their hunger and thirst. They have no acquired knowledge, no vision. Their behavior exhibits no dependence on formalities. Extensively ignorant, they can know their desirables only by smell, and by such intelligence only can they understand what is favorable and unfavorable. Their knowledge is concerned only with eating and sleeping. Therefore, even the most ferocious lower animals, such as tigers, can be tamed simply by regularly supplying meals and accommodations for sleeping. Only snakes cannot be tamed by such an arrangement. Number 22. Gaurajo Mahisa Krishna Sukaro Gavayoruruhu Dvisapha Pasavascheme Abirustrascha Sattama. O purest Vidura, of the lower animals, the cow, goat, buffalo, Krishna stag, hog, Gavaya animal, deer, lamb, and camel all have cloven hoofs. खरोस्वस्वतरो गौरः सरभश्चमरी तथा एते चैक सफा क्षत्तः शृणु पंच नखान पशून्. The horse, mule, ass, gaura, sarabha, bison, and wild cow all have only one hoof. Now you may hear from me about the animals who have 5 nails. So these are all talking about this 8th creation, all the animals in the lower the lower species of animals. Swasrugalo bruko bagro marjara sassa sallako singha kapir gaja kurmo godha cha makaradayah. The dog, jackal, tiger, fox, cat, rabbit, sajaru, lion, monkey, elephant, tortoise, alligator, gosapa, etc. all have 5 nails in their claws. They are known as panchanakhas, or animals having 5 nails. Kanka grudha bakasena bhasha bhalluka barhinah hansa sarasa chakrava kako lokadayah khaga. The heron, vulture, crane, hawk, bhasha, bhalluka, peacock, swan, sarasa, chakrabaka, crow, owl, and others are the birds. Arbak srotastu navamaha khyattareka vidho nunam rajodhika karmapara dukkhe cha sukhamaninaha. The creation of the human beings who are of one species only and who stock their eatables in the belly is the 9th in the rotation. In the human race, the mode of passion is very prominent. Humans are always busy in the midst of miserable life, but they think themselves happy in all respects. So in the previous verses, we read about the lower species of life. And now in this verse, Maitreya Muni is talking about the human beings, which is the 9th creation. Purport. The human being is more passionate than the animals, and thus the sex life of the human being is more irregular. The animals have their due time for sexual intercourse, but the human being has no regular time for such activities. The human being is endowed with a higher advanced stage of consciousness for getting relief from the existence of material miseries. But due to his ignorance, he thinks that his higher consciousness is meant for advancing in the material comforts of life. Thus, his intelligence is misused in the animal propensities, eating, sleeping, defending, and mating, instead of spiritual realization. By advancing in material comforts, the human being puts himself into a more miserable condition. But illusioned by the material energy, he always thinks himself happy. even while in the midst of misery. Such misery of human life is distinct from the natural, comfortable life enjoyed even by the animals. So the main distinction between the human beings and other animals is that the human being is endowed with higher consciousness. So and only in this human form of life, one can get relief from the cycle of birth and death. The other lower species of animals, they do not have that intelligence. So they have to just go through the natural process. And only in the case of human beings, they get a chance where they can be elevated to spiritual realm. But if the human beings, they misuse this intelligence and they just indulge in the animal propensities, then they're basically no better than the animals. Okay? So that's what is mentioned here. Number 27. Vaikrutasraya ebete deva sargascha sattama vaikarikastu ya prokta kaumarastu bhayatmakaha. O good Vidura, these last three creations and the creation of demigods, the 10th creation, are Vaikruta creations, which are different from the previously described Prakruta or natural creations. The appearance of the Kumaras is both. So as I mentioned in the beginning, so these are the 10 different creations. The first 6 creations were by the external energy of the Lord, and then this last 4, they are the creations by the the next 3, the trees and plants, then the animals, lower species, and human beings. These are the creations of Brahma, who is in the mode of passion, and he's inspired by the Supreme Lord to make these creations. And then there's the 10th creation, the creation of the demigods. So all these the creation of all the living entities are called the Vaikruta creations. And then the previous ones, the 6, the Mahatattva, false ego, and so on, so those are called the Prakruta, natural creations. Number 28, 29. Devasargaschastavidho vibudha pitaro shuraha gandharvapsarasa siddha yaksha rakshamsi charanaha bhutapreta pisachascha vidyadhra kinnaradayah dasaite vidurakshataha sargaste vishwasukrutaha. The creation of the demigods is of 8 varieties. The demigods, the forefathers, the asuras or demons, the gandharvas and apsaras or angels, the yakshas and rakshasas, the siddhas, charanas and vidyadharas, the bhutas, pretas and pishachas, and the superhuman beings, celestial singers, etc. All are created by Brahma, the creator of the universe. Purport. As explained in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Siddhas are inhabitants of Siddhaloka, where the residents travel in space without vehicles. At their mere will, they can pass from one planet to another without difficulty. Therefore, in the upper planets, the inhabitants are far superior to the inhabitants of this planet in all matters of art, culture, and science, since they possess brains superior to those of human beings. The spirits and jinn mentioned in this connection are also counted among the demigods because they are able to perform uncommon functions not possible for men. So here the 8 different kinds of demigods are mentioned, and they're all superior to the human beings. So they all are they have brains which are superior to those of the human beings. Number 30. अतः परं प्रवक्ष्यामि वंशान् मन्वन्तराणि च एवं रजः पृतस्रष्टा कल्पादि स्वात्मभूर्हरिः सृजत्यमोघसङ्कल्प आत्मैवात्मानमात्मना. Now I shall describe the descendants of the Manus. The creator, Brahma, as the incarnation of the passion mode of the personality of Godhead, creates the universal affairs with unfailing desires in every millennium by the force of the Lord's energy. Purport. The cosmic manifestation is an expansion of one of the many energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The creator and the created are both emanations of the same Supreme Truth, as stated in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, Janmadi Yasya Yataha. So after these 10 different creations, and now Maitreya Muni is going to talk about the different manus. And there are 14 different manus. So he's going to talk about that in the next chapter.
So we can have some discussion here, Prabhu. Yeah.
Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 3rd canto, 10th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Divisions of the Creation. Yes, so we can have some discussions here. If anybody has any points to make in this chapter before we move on to the next one.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Dandavad Prabhu.
So, in this chapter now, verse 26 is saying creation of human beings who are one species only.
Yes, Prabhu.
And in other places, Prabhupada writes like 8,400,000. The 400,000 types of like human beings.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that versus this? What is that 400,000? And here it is just says human is one species.
Yes, Prabhu. So, and that's a good point, Prabhu. So like before we talked about all these lower species of animals, right? So in this, the previous 3 verses, like 23, 24, 25, so, or even starting from 22, like, so we have all these lower species like cow, goat, buffalo, and so on. So they are different, all like they're different species of animals, right? As compared to that, the human beings, that's just one species. So this 400,000 are mentioning, so that Prabhupada mentioned there are different types of human beings, like like some are white, some are black, some are brown, and so on, like all are different types, but the species is one, just all are human beings. Whereas for the lower other species of animals, some are like birds, then some are the alligators, so they're all different species of animals. So among the bird species, we have different kinds of birds, or among the the mammals, we have different kinds of animals. But here, so the human beings, so they're like just one species. That's my understanding. But maybe if somebody else has better understanding, can.
I think I got you. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So there is a description somewhere else that there are some creation which are vertical. So they have head, mind on the top, and then they have their senses, and then the belly comes, and then genital comes, like that. So there are some creation that has horizontal structure, like animals. You'll see them, their stomach and their genitals and their mouth and head are basically in a straight line. So here, referring to one species mean there could be a variety within the human being itself, as Prabhu mentioned, but species wise they are one. So it's not like that there are some human being which might be horizontal, or there might be some human being which are vertical, or there might be some which are lateral. So basically, the species of the human being is only one type, and in that species there are different varieties.
What about those gorillas?
Yeah, so Prabhu, so they're also mentioned here like the monkeys. So the gorillas are, so they're in the same category as the monkeys, and they are the lower species. So here, yeah, I just wanted to make this other point that like in modern science, we say that like the human beings, they evolved from the monkeys and all, but the monkeys are still there. So if they evolved, then monkeys would not be there, right? So that's the that's like the argument I mean, this is a very simple argument that one can give against the common theory of evolution. So all these different species we see, right? So here, according to Bhagavatam, the human beings, so they're there from the beginning. It's not that they evolved from some lower species of life.
Yes.
So they are different species, and they exist from the beginning of creation.
Right. There is also distinction based upon how the species takes their food. So we take food from our mouth, but there are species who doesn't take food from their mouth, like trees. They take food from their legs. So there are different, basically way you can distinguish the different types of creation. And some of those are mentioned here, like how many claws they have, and some other external features.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, verse 28, 29, Deva Sarga. creation of it's surprising to know that, you know, Bhuta, Preta, and Pistacha, they are in Deva category.
Yes, Prabhu. So they have powers which are not there for human beings, right? For example, these bhuta, I mean, they know some, you know, these some they have some siddhis which the human beings don't have. So in that sense, they are a higher category. But of course, if you look at the consciousness, then they are in the mode of ignorance, whereas human beings are predominantly the mode of passion. But yeah, but according to the like the powers, they have more powers. And it says that their brain is okay. If I go to this verse in the purport, Prabhupada mentions that their brains, they possess brains superior to those of the human beings, and that's why they are considered, you know, like superior in that sense.
Right, and also it depends, you know, how much degree of freedom they have. So we are consolidated in a body, which is basically gross element. And then we have the body that is made of the gross element, and then we have the body that is of the subtle, mind, intelligence, false ego. So like ghost and other, yaksha and others, they, like for example, ghost versus us. You will find out that ghosts are higher creation than human being. Why? Because they don't have gross body. So we are more constrained than ghost, because ghosts have mind, intelligence, and false ego. So they have the subtle body, but we have the gross body. So gross body feels more pain and pleasure comparing to subtle body. That's one way to look at. Another way to look at is, as Prabhu said, degree of consciousness.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanvat Pranam, Prabhu. This is Vrajeshwari Pran. Prabhu, I just wanted to add one more point that the 400,000 species of human forms. And it also, Prabhupada mentioned in 7th chapter, one of the purport, the 4 types of people who do not take surrender to Krishna. In that, Prabhupada mentioned that out of 8.4 million species, 400,000 species are human lives, human beings.
Right.
And they're different lower forms. And he doesn't mention the structure and the way they look or consciousness, but he does mention, Prabhupada does mention that most of them are uncivilized kind of human species and lower forms of human beings. So it is not 400,000 types, it's 400,000 species of human beings. So I was just adding this to Rupal Prabhu's comment.
Mataji. So yeah, here it's in the translation of this verse, it says just one species. I think that's why we had this confusion, and Prabhu was asking this question. But yeah, I don't remember this particular purport. So maybe yeah, we can go and read that part to understand better what exactly Prabhupada means there, what it means here.
Yeah, I think we have to understand what exactly is the meaning of species, like Mata is saying, like Prabhupada sometimes using the species word there and type, you're saying, so I understood what you said, but why Prabhupada using the word species there is just a casual, or like he was very careful, or I don't know. We have to see.
Yeah, as Ramacharya mentioned, so here I think it's the species, the one species mentioned here in terms of the structure. Like Prabhu said, the head on top, and then they eat the stalk the eatables in the belly and so on. So that's unique to the human beings in that sense. So this way it says ekabidha. I mean, there's one species. But maybe there. So if you categorize in terms of some different criteria, then maybe you can make like yeah, maybe more species. So in that context, probably Prabhupada, I mean, I don't remember that, but I'm just guessing. So in that context, probably it's according to the mode of consciousness. So that's why Prabhupada mentioned this 400,000 species, because they have different levels of consciousness. So accordingly, you can categorize into different types, different species. Whatever.
So I think the 400,000, that is different varieties of thoughts that we have it in Goloka when we were there. And because we want to be different thought, we have different thoughts and we want to enjoy in a different way. That's the reason we born here in a different fashion of 400,000. So that may not be color. black, white, and all those different colors thing. It's I think this is the different thoughts that we have it.
You mean
Right. So thought is basically consciousness.
psychophysical nature, right?
I mean, yeah, right. What type of thought you have? Thought is basically, if you put in a very systematic way, that's the consciousness. What's your basically thoughts? What's your consciousness?
It's like the mixture of the three modes, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
So if you try to understand also, it's not like that. When we talk about Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaisya, and Sudra, that's the only categories of the human beings, or that's the categories within the Varnashram. But then there is Malecha, there is 5th class, 6th class, 7th class, 8th class, 9th class, 10th class, like that. So even somebody may have the same physical feature, like just take the example of looking like Indians, it doesn't mean that there is no distinction. So you may have the similar physical feature in terms of appearance, but on the level of consciousness, you can have the distinction. One may fall into the Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaisya. So if you try to put that on the form of consciousness, then that's the one category. Now, if you try to put on the term of physical appearance, if you try to have the categories based upon physical appearance, then all the human, who are looking like Indians will fall in the same category. The people who have different appearance will fall into the different category. So that is why, every time, and when we read Prabhupada's writing, we have to understand the context. It's very important to understand what's the context, in which context that's being talked, and then what is basically the reference point or reference line. Because if we take the message from one perspective and translate that into other perspective, I have seen that creates huge confusion. That is why, having like the way we are doing, reading it, summarizing it, and understand. So it's very important that we understand the context. What is the context of the discussion? If there are some distinctions, what's the basis of those distinctions? That way, it will be a little bit more clear. That's what I think I see. So there could be different ways to basically have the different categories, and depends what the reference line, what are the things we are taking to put them into different segments. So here, as I see, it's very much species is referring here to certain certain type of characters, which is structure here, vertical versus horizontal versus lateral, those type of structural difference.
And also, I think, Prabhu, that 400,000 includes the human beings living on the Earth planet and above 7 planets and below 7 planets. Am I correct on that? There are some species of human beings, like say the Devatas or Rakshasas, demons. So all those includes that 400,000.
Yes, my understanding is yes, but I'm not sure if yes, the human being 400,000 doesn't mean that all of them are inhabitants on the earthly planet. That's right. That's what I understand. They may be on the other planets too.
Prabhu, I actually read somewhere.
Venugopal Prabhu, you were saying something, please.
I actually read somewhere, Prabhu, if I'm not remembering the reference, that it also includes human beings in other universes.
Yeah, maybe, yes.
Yes.
That's what, yes.
So we know only this universe itself, we know only the Earth planet, essentially, but there are so many universes. Maybe there are more varieties, a lot more.
But most of the time, these numbers, when we are talking about lower planet system, higher planet system, this is just, kind of orientation of a universe. So most of the time, it's referring to one universe. Most of the time, it doesn't mingle with other universe. And the information that we talk most of the time is talking about that universe where we have four-headed Brahma. Our Brahma, who has 4 heads. But if we go to Canto 5th and some of the chapters, last chapters, there are basically descriptions even beyond our universe. But most of the time, I think, like when we talk about Karnadakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Chirodakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu coming and filling the half of the universe with Garbha water and then lying on it, all of that is talking about our universe. But a similar structure or maybe beyond may exist in other universe. Okay, Prabhu, I think we can have some more discussion and then we can start chapter 11 tomorrow, Prabhu. So some of the very important point is mentioned in this chapter. I think it was verse 24 or 25th. Oh, right here. Which verse is this, Prabhu? Where it's talking about, which verse is 26, right?
Which one?
Yeah, the one. Yeah. So basically, everything that is created in existence, in the material existence or in our existence, the things that we see around, sometimes the question comes that what is the utility for that? And when we are trying to be devotee, the question comes, what is the utility of the lust? Why Lord created lust? And in reality, everything that Lord has created has purpose and has utility. And this lust, this is mentioned here in this verse 26. Lust basically helps one to have respect for the body, right? So if we do not have the lust, then there is no use of the body, the external body that we have got. Basically, lust is the basis of the lust is bodily attraction. So I was just reading, I was listening on lecture, and the speaker was making a point that this lust is very important because that help one to retain their body. Like, for example, you will see how men or women, they take care of their body, they take shower, they decorate themselves, they put some ointment, they keep themselves clean, they dress up very nicely. So he was trying to make a point that if there is no lust, then there is no importance of beauty or not being beautiful. There is no importance of putting jewelry on the body. There is no importance of decorating our body. So the lust is the one that help do this thing and help retain the body. But also at the same time, when we get too much engrossed or too much attached with this lust, then it becomes dangerous. So utility is the principle. Everything that exists around us has some utility. But if we understand the limit of that utility or limits of that utility, then we will be perfect in using those objects for our spiritual growth. But if it's not understood that what's the utility and up to what extent one should engage with the bodily attachment, then that becomes destructive. So this 26th verse is very much talking about that specific point. So it just came to my mind and I thought that I should share. It just one of my thought that I wanted to share. If you all have anything else that we read today from any verse, feel free to share. We have almost 7-8 minutes left before we can get into Damodarastakam.
On that point of last, So I just wanted to add there that so this is the perverted reflection of love, right? So like in the spiritual world, they have so we have love for Krishna, and that when that love, so when you one wants to lord it over material nature, that love gets perverted to lust, and that's the main driving force in this material world.
Exactly. So that is definitely very applicable for devotees. But to retain this system, to retain this material world, or to let it continue, or to let it function, we need to have some sort of attachment to it.
Mm, right.
Without attachment, so in order for us to have our spiritual life also, we have to have some attachment with our house, some attachment with our job, some attachment with the things of the worldly environment, because that attachment help us to support and sustain our spiritual life. But yes, you are right, the lust is perverted of the love, but lust also to some extent is needed to support and then use that to go towards pure love. I don't know if I'm making sense or not.
Yes, bro.
So that's what it is. So the point that I'm trying to make is that sometimes thinking that, oh, I'll just renounce is also not right understanding. That's the main point I'm trying to make. Rather, understanding that what is the utility, how much sometimes attachment is needed for us to grow in Krishna consciousness. But understanding the limit, that how much attachment is needed, is what is important. So you are right. We don't, lust is definitely something that we have to slowly take over. But lust is also necessary to function and to sustain this material world. Otherwise, there will be chaos everywhere. If that thing is not there, then people will become this. So just take the example: if there is no gravitational force, what will happen? Everything will start flying. So that force is necessary to hold the one who doesn't want to fly.
Yeah, so this is the arrangement of the material nature just to keep everybody bound to this material world.
Yes, Prabhu. Bhoga artham, moksha artham. Yes. So this bhoga, for the people who do not aspire towards liberation, this place is definitely a place which is attractive for them to continue for their bhoga artham, for their enjoyment. But if you want to basically use the resources for moksha artham, and that's the purpose of the creation, bhoga artham, moksha artham, then you inspire, take this object and inspire towards liberation.
In a simple way, in Sanskrit, one slogan is there: "Ati sarvatra varjayati." Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Lust, if it is more, it shouldn't be ati. It should be in the limit. We should have it. Should have some kind of borderline to try and draw that, and should not cross that anything on that.
Exactly, and very simple example is that we have a family, right? So we have to have the love for our son and daughters, for their best, for their bright future. If we think that no, they are not my, they are not mine anyways, because we are not this body, and I don't have to worry for them. I'm not their father, and I'm not their mother. I don't have to worry for them. Then what's their future? That's also a very simple way to see. So that degree of attachment is necessary to think for their bright future, but not thinking in terms of making them material people, but rather thinking them how we can inspire and cultivate so that they become a spiritual person, they become a spiritual being. So some attachment is needed to divert or have some control over somebody to take into a right direction. So that's also a very simple way to see it.
Now you said you are not the body. I think one person was asking me, if I'm not my body, so whose body I belong to. There is no answer to that on that.
So should we stop here, Prabhu, or is there anything else?
Prabhu, yesterday Prabhupada's disappearance day, that is happened on Tithi or a date? Normally.
I think that was the Tithi, Prabhu, because the date was November 14th, right? 1977.
Yeah, okay. And that means we celebrate on Tithi, correct?
Yeah.
So we also have to have the habit of celebrating on our Tithi, or birthday or whatever it is. Prabhu, Damodar Lila happened on Diwali day, correct? Deepavali day.
Yes, Prabhu.
And Govardhan Lila the next day of Deepavali.
Yes, Prabhu, but that not in the same year.
Yeah.
Different years, because Govardhan happened when Krishna was 7 years old, right?
Yes.
But the Damodar Lila happened when he was much younger.
3 years.
3 years, yes.
So can you see the screen here?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so we can get the Damodar Ashtakam now. If there is nothing, we can discuss some more if there is anything. Otherwise, we'll chant Damodar Ashtakam. And we have Venu Gopal Prabhu is going to chant for us. I don't know why it's not coming to presentation.
Shri Radha Damodar ki jai. Namameshwaram
I don't know why it's I have to.
Rupam Rasakundalam
You see, Prabhu? If you can see, then we can just proceed. I don't know, there is some issue here.
Yes, Prabhu, we can see, but not full screen.
See what, Prabhu?
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, the text.
Prabhu, can you see?
Yes.
Yes,
Still
Prabhu.
not full screen,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhu, still not full screen?
Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhu, we can see, but not the full screen, Prabhu. Now it went away.
Prabhu, you want me to share other PDF? Ramacharya Prabhu, you want me to share?
Yes, Prabhu, now it looks good.
Prabhu, we can start?
Yes, Prabhu, you can share.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you. Are you able to hear us?
I guess Ramacharya Prabhu has some audio reception problem, probably. We can able to hear you, Prabhu. I guess Ramacharya Prabhu not able to get.
So we can start, Prabhu. Namacharya Prabhu joined. Ramacharya Prabhu, are you able to hear us now?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you, Prabhu. Are you able to hear us?
Who can you hear?
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you.
I don't know. Hare Krishna? Prabhu, can you hear?
We can hear you, Prabhu.
Huh?
Prabhu, we are able to hear you.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. I there is something going on here with my screen. Okay, Prabhu, I'm going to start the Damodaskam now.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem, Prabhu.
I don't know, something happened on my screen. I was kind of not hearing myself. Gopal is laughing. I like it, Gopal. Nice seeing you. Can you see Prabhu now?
Yeah, it is. You
Sorry.
can make full screen, it will be good, Prabhu.
I did it make, yeah, it's full
Yeah,
screen.
that is good now. It is good. Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Rasakundalam Gokule Vrajamanam Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Rasakundalam Gokule Vrajamanam
Hare
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Srila Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Srila Guru Deva, Nita Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gora Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Sai Gora Hari Bol.
To the Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, to the Supreme Controller who possesses an eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistening star-shaped earring swings to and fro, who manifests himself in Gokula, who stole the butter from the rafters that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of their storerooms, and who then quickly jumped up and ran in retreat in fear of Mother Yasoda, but was ultimately caught. To that Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, I offer my humble obeisances. Upon seeing his mother's drinking stick, he cried and rubbed his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes were fearful and his breathing quick. And as Mother Yashoda bound his belly with ropes, he shivered in fright and his pearl necklace shook. To the Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, I offer my humble obeisances. Those super excellent pastimes of Lord Krishna's babyhood drowned the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy. To the devotees who are attracted only to his majestic aspect of Narayana in Vaikuntha, the Lord herein reveals, unconquered and overwhelmed by pure loving devotion. To the Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, my obeisances hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for liberation, nor eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon. My only prayer is that your childhood pastimes may constantly appear in my mind. Oh Lord, I do not even want to know your feature of Paramatma. I simply wish that your childhood pastimes may never be ever be enacted in my heart.
O Lord, the cheeks of your blackish lotus face, which is encircled by locks of curling hair, have become reddened with bimba fruit due to Mother Yashoda's kisses. What more can I describe than this? Millions of opulences are of no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind.
O unlimited Vishnu, O Master, O Lord, be pleased upon me. I am drowning in an ocean of sorrow and am almost like a dead man. Please shower the rain of mercy on me. Uplift me and protect me with your nectarian vision.
O Lord Damodara. O Lord Damodara, in your form as a baby, Mother Yashoda bound you to a grinding stone with a rope for tying cows. You then freed the sons of Kuvera, Manigriva, and El-Kuvera, who were cursed to stand as trees, and you give them the chance to become your devotees. Please bless me in the same way. I have no desire for your liberation to your effulgence.
O Lord, the entire universe was created by Lord Brahma, who is born from your abdomen, which was bound by a rope by Mother Yashoda. To this rope I offer my humble obeisances. I offer my obeisances to your most beloved Srimati Radharani and to your unlimited pastimes.
Jai Sri Sri Radha Damodar Bhagwan ki. Please unmute yourself and say Jai. Jai Jai Sri Sri Radha Damodar Bhagwan ki. Sham Sundar Bhagwan ki.
Jai.
Jai Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Prabhupada Divas ki.
Jai.
Bhaktivinoda ki.
Jai.
I'm going to say Jai Jai Sri Radhe Sam, okay? Let's do together. You all are unmuted. We'll do together. Jai. Jai.
Jai.
Shri
Jai.
Ram.
Ram.
Jai
Jai Sri Ram. Jai
Sam.
Ram.
Panchkalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya evasya patitanam pavanebhyo vaisnavebhyo namo namaha. Assemble Bhaktavrind ki jai. Thank you so much. Thank you so much all the kids for reading, and thank you for everybody to be part of this program. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. We'll resume tomorrow at the same time. Dandavad pranams to everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Oh, one
Krishna.
more announcement. So this Sunday we have a very special guest, His Grace Braj Bihari Prabhu. And likely, I'm working on it. Next Sunday, we are going to have Radheshyam Prabhu. So stay tuned. So many great speakers coming to give us, their association to us. So please stay tuned and enthusiastic and continue your devotional service. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Dandavat. Hare Krishna.